I'm Saran Fox.
And I'm Dan Watanabe.
And this is Dan and Saran Take On Hollywood. Today we have a very special show for you. Dan, why don't you tell our listeners about it?
Today we're going to have a very special episode. We're going to have guest hosts because our topic is going to be comic books, the comic universe, and all of that, which I do not know enough about to where I feel competent.
Superheroes.
So we are handing over the hands of the show to Addison Randall and Armen Fetulagian. So, guys, take it away.
Here you go.
Well, actually, we're the guests. The real guys that are going to be on are...
Luis de la Cruz.
Mike Gonzales.
They're the hosts.
Hi,
We're just
I
guests.
think we are we? Yeah.
I think so.
It's a team effort.
Let's go. Let's keep going.
Team, right? Yeah, go
Yeah.
team.
Brother
Go
nerds.
team.
Brother nerds.
Brother,
There you go.
Brotherhood of Nerds. All right. Great. So yeah, like I said, today we're going to talk superheroes, comic book stuff, nerdy stuff. What do you want to talk about first, Lewis?
Superheroes, right?
Superheroes? Top of the order?
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man. So we're on our, 55th reiteration
I think so.
of Spider-Man, whatever this is. The newest one, Tom Holland's, which is coming out, the Homecoming. So, me personally, I actually do want to see this film. It does look good, but for reasons that are completely different from the other 100 reiterations of Spider-Man, because it actually is the Ultimate Universe, which is a completely separate universe from canon. Because there's the regular universe, there's Peter Parker, regular Spider-Man, canon, and then there's the Ultimate Universe, which is a separate comic book sort of like universe all onto itself, which it looks like that's what this film is based on.
Isn't that where the book Ultimate Spider-Man came from?
Yes, that's it. Exactly. That's the
Okay.
title that universe exists in, where you have it's very similar story to the regular old Peter Parker story, with the exception that you have a few other people kind of come out as well. You have what's called a multiverse, where you have different alternate universes that exist within that. So you have different Spider-Men or women depending on what universe it is. One of them, which is the more infamous one that has come out recently, which was Miles Morales, came out of that universe, and then Spider-Gwen and a bunch of other stuff. But we'll just talk about the film. We'll focus on the film.
Remember, I'm old. There's a lot of this
I know.
There's a lot of this stuff that goes...
No, even for me as a fanboy, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to absorb and to understand. But we'll just talk about the film as a film right now. So Lewis, do you have any thoughts on the film?
I remember as a kid, like reading the comic books.
Yeah.
And I always figure, like, how is Spider-Man... Because the story is that he gets bit by a spider.
Yep.
And he gets...
Radioactive spider.
Okay, radioactive spider, then he has his own webs,
Yep.
right? But then other comic books...
Wrong. Sorry, don't...
No?
Sorry
No,
to interrupt you,
the
Lewis, but
original, yeah.
The original
he builds-
Spider-Man, he has to create...
he
has to
builds
create
the-
Oh,
his
so
web.
that's
Yeah.
what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why
weird.
he used to
Yeah.
run out of
Power
web
of the
fluid all the
spider,
time.
can't
Yeah.
do that part.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I thought it was where
They changed that
he
in the
came...
movie. They actually made in the movies, he was generating his own
His stuff, yeah. his
Okay, so
whatever.
this one,
Web-
this new...
no.
So
new
this
film-
one he has built. He
Okay.
built his own. So it's more closer to that, the original.
Okay. And now we also notice too the eyes. You know how they open
Right,
up and
right,
close. You know what I mean? And also
Not creepy at all.
right. So that's I was like, how's he doing that with his suit on? So now with this film, I've noticed that John Stark gave him a suit
Yep.
where his eyes
Yep.
react
Open
to
up and
open
and
close.
whatever. So he kind of has an internal Jarvis thing
Right,
going on. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah. I like it. I haven't seen anything that's kind of made me go, I don't want to watch this. I am interested to see what they're gonna do again with the other characters, and if they're gonna introduce through this film, if they're gonna introduce more of the multiverse coming in. Because my conspiracy theory has always been, you can only do so much in Marvel, and then you hit a wall where like you run out of the canon, like the regular story stuff. Like you hit that wall. So where do you go from there? Alternate universes, bringing other weird people in and stuff like that, like kind of like we saw with Benedict Cumberbatch introducing that in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
The multiverse, and that's kind of where that kind of comes into play as well.
Which gives him a chance to go either way.
Exactly.
Into the multiverse.
Exactly.
What was
however
what was
you
it
want,
I
yeah.
read somewhere where Thor is taking care of protecting the canon,
Yeah.
the Earth canon.
Yeah.
The multiverse and the bad stuff is all up to Doctor Strange. So there's bound to be a Thor Doctor Strange matchup.
Yeah.
I'm here to say.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So my
So-
question about Spider-Man now.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
How is he sometimes involved with DC and then Marvel? Is that has he ever been with DC?
Was he in DC?
Or am I?
I mean,
just-
there was a crossover event, but that was way back in like the '90s when they did a crossover
Oh, okay.
thing. But that's the only time
Yeah,
I think they've
okay.
ever crossed over on that.
Alright.
On those two have ever crossed over. But for our guests, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man? This newest version of Spider-Man.
I'm glad it's not another origin story. And I'm glad it's like they kind of established him in what was it, Civil War?
Yeah.
Captain America.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they established him there, and it was kind of like, all right, we already know who Spider-Man is, so now it's just sort of picking up. Is this before or after the events in Civil War? Because he shows up.
This is post Civil War, I believe, because he's already fought.
Yeah, they already.
Yeah, they have mentioned it in the trailer that he's already fought with the Avengers.
Got it.
So
Okay.
so I'm assuming it's yeah.
Oh, that's
post,
right. Yeah, he
post
does, yeah.
Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they established him in some other movie, and now it was just more about him as opposed to getting bit by a spider and then Uncle Ben
Right.
and like
The origin and all of
freaking
that.
Mary Jane and whatever her name was like.
Right. Because everybody knows that origin
Yeah.
story. Everybody does. Yeah.
Also, I mean, Spider-Man. I mean, is a business is good for business. I mean,
Very.
Spider-Man basically is, with the exception of possibly Wolverine,
Mm-hmm.
the most popular comic book hero Marvel ever had. It's still the most popular comic book
Yeah.
Marvel has, and it's the most popular movie film.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look, how many have they made? Spider-Man's
Yes,
been made.
exactly.
And like I say,
Yeah.
the only one that's gone any farther has been Wolverine.
Yeah.
And that's just because Wolverine is the most popular. Everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
What was the Spider-Man series after the animated one in the '90s where he goes on like, he goes on like a spaceship and he's now Spider-Man on a different planet?
Are you thinking of 99, 2009, or 2199? Where he has like a weird suit. It's like
It's, like,
blue
blackish,
and like
yeah.
weird looking. What are you talking about?
It was, you know the Spider-Man series in the '90s, the animated one.
No, yeah, yes,
Yeah, it was
on Fox. Yeah. Yeah.
that series ending was the first episode of the other one, where basically he's following one of his friends onto some sort of a spaceship.
I think that was supposed
like
to
Venom
be.
hijacks, like jumps on the spaceship somehow, and then Spider-Man follows him, and then
I
ends
think that was 2199 or the start where
ends
it,
up in
where
an
it takes
alternate
place
universe or something. Like they go through some black hole, I think.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I ever saw that. Okay,
What was
Huh.
it called? Like Ultimate Spider-Man? No,
interesting.
I don't remember, but that one was cool. I
Yeah.
always thought that might be a kind of a cool, different version of
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
because
to
there
do.
is what's called Spider-Man 20 is it 2199 where he it takes place like I think 100 years after Peter Parker's death, and so
No,
now
no.
somebody
No,
else,
this one, this
or is it
one's
talking about a
Peter
different
Parker.
one? Oh, it's still Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's him, and he follows Venom onto some sort of NASA shuttle,
Oh,
and
weird.
he
okay.
ends up getting stuck on the shuttle, and then they fly through some black hole.
Interesting.
But his suit becomes different because he finds some alien tech or something.
How many drugs were they doing when they did that? Like, wow. Okay, I don't
right?
remember that. I have to go back and look at that.
I forget what it was
Okay.
called, but
Okay.
yeah, that one was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I see. My son was actually he watches animations on.
Sure, let me look it up, maybe.
And there's one that I was watching with him. It was a series or an episode that he went to, I guess, to a wormhole, and
Okay.
it was a bunch of Spider-Mans in different dimensions.
That was you're talking about the most recent one,
Right.
The Ultimate Spider-Man,
Okay.
which is that's what I was saying with where it's all the alternate universes and,
Right.
and alternate versions of him.
Right.
So like you have Spider Pig, which is a real thing.
Right.
There's a real version where it's a pig who's
No.
Spider-Man. Yes.
No.
Don't I know, which is not as bad as it sounds. It's actually kind of funny. They make fun of
Well,
that. And then there's Spider Gwen, who Gwen Stacy, which was Spider-Man's first girlfriend ever, is bitten and becomes Spider-Man or Spider-Woman or Spider-Girl. And then there is a Spider-Woman as well.
I was
But-
going to say.
So there's
pretty cool.
different
I
versions.
remember seeing
Yeah.
Spider-Woman.
There is a Spider-Woman,
Oh.
yes. And I'm trying to remember what another funny. There's like any version of Spider-Man you can think of, it probably exists. So Spider-Punk. There's a Spider-Punk who wears like a leather jacket,
So I would
spiky
imagine
hair.
at some
That's pretty
point,
cool.
Deadpool's going to meet Spider something.
They've crossed over a couple of times as well.
Okay,
so
I
yeah,
realized
for
what it was
sure.
called. It's called it's Spider-Man Unlimited.
Oh, interesting.
And,
Okay.
And basically the plot is John Jameson is launching a mission to counter Earth, which is another Earth that's like hidden, like
Interesting. Okay.
another version of Earth. They find behind the sun, and it's cool.
Interesting.
It's interesting
Okay.
and it's different. And Spider-Man on a different planet.
Have to go look at that. Okay.
right.
So
Same Peter Parker.
So let's move on a little bit. So we want to talk about a little DC action. Wonder Woman coming out.
I haven't seen it.
And it's an interesting event that's taking place because even though it's come out and it's done really well, it's nothing close to. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but Joss Whedon attempted to do Wonder Woman as well in the past, and it just did not work. There's a failed pilot out in.
I saw it.
You've seen it. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that. There's a failed pilot that came out because he was trying to turn it into a television series, and it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's right in that horrible middle area where you're.
About the movie, or are you talking
No,
about
his version of
his
it.
version of
His
it?
version of it. So it's an interesting sort of contrast to see something like that versus what we have now, especially now because he's on board after Zack Snyder left. So what are your thoughts on Wonder Woman?
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's great.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, I was meant to go watch it, but I haven't had the chance to go watch it.
It was a good watch. It was, it didn't try to be something other than what it was. It was a nice idea that they took it back to. We took it back to World War One. I did have a slight problem with the fact that it was World War One, and we have already seen her in modern day.
Right.
When she takes
Oh,
on
in Batman vs Superman. Yeah.
But
Which was just a
well,
wonderful.
my wife made me feel very silly. She said, "She's a god. She's immortal." And
That's
I thought,
true. That is true.
okay, there you go. I mean,
That is true.
yeah.
Now I have a theory.
But
as,
she has never been a god.
right.
The original Wonder Woman was merely the daughter of, and I'm
Hippol-
going back to
Hippolyta.
the TV
Yeah, Hippolyta. Yeah.
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 And there was no godhood involved.
Right. She was just molded out of clay
And
or molded
they-
out of sand or
and
whatever.
she's
Whatever
lost,
magical.
She's lost her invisible jet.
Yeah. No stork coming to bring.
Did they show the
baby.
invisible jet
Yeah.
in the film?
She's lost her invisible jet.
No, she lost it.
Which I was hoping. Did they make reference to that? in the
No.
film? Damn.
I want the jet.
Yes.
That invisible jet never really worked. You still saw her flying in it.
Exactly,
yeah,
but
but
it was
that's how
funny
you
because
put
you
on
see
invisible jet.
because you see someone sitting like this,
It's a
like
bamboozle,
flying in an
man.
invisible
Be
jet. Like,
bamboozled.
come on.
Have you seen there's a robot chicken sketch where she gets up
Yes.
to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
And
And
the
every.
invisible jet, and Superman's flying right next to her.
Yep. Yep. So I think the film is fantastic. What I would say about I think to touch on the World War I thing, I think I know why DC chose that. It's because originally it was World War II where she originally
Yes.
was fighting Nazis. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird okay, so they take a step back because of Captain America. Because
Yeah,
in
there's
Captain
gonna-
America had already touched on World War II, Nazis,
Right.
all of that. So they're like, okay, how can we differentiate that?
That's a good
I
point.
think that's maybe why they
a
might
good
have
point.
chosen to do that. But Lewis, what else? What do you want to talk about? What else you got?
The Batman and
Oh,
Superman.
Batman vs.
Superman.
That wonderful,
I
wonderful film.
saw that
That
movie
scene.
3 times.
Seen it twice.
Not because I wanted to. It was just,
yeah.
it was
I
just
would
three.
say you're glutton for punishment.
It was just three
Why?
different-
Why did you watch it
for
3
pain.
times?
It was 3 different groups of people
I
just
see.
wanted to see it, and I was like, all right, fine, I guess I'll go see it with you. But you pick up stuff by the third time. Where by the third time I watched it, I realized, at least I feel that Lex knew exactly what was happening, and he was deadly afraid of everything, and he kept trying to warn everybody, but he was still trying to be cool about it. But he very subtly, he kept trying to warn people, this is coming. You're all gonna die. I'm doing this because I have to, not because I want to. I'm sorry, Batman. I have to get you to kill Superman. I don't want you to, but it played on certain levels, and I think a big part was Apocalypse. Represented Lex's dad.
Representative who's dead?
Lex.
Lex is dead. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about Darkseid?
I'm sorry, Darkseid,
Okay.
not Apocalypse.
Okay. Well, he's from the planet is Apocalypse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the name of his
I'm sorry,
planet.
Darkseid, yeah.
Right.
But it's Darkseid, yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that film. What can you say about a film where the biggest connection between the two main characters is their mom?
Yeah.
being the
Some
same name
besties, yeah.
or having the same
Their
name.
mama's boy.
That's the bridge that brings these two together.
Yeah, and finally, I mean, I have to go back to the Superman that I know.
Yeah.
And the Superman that
Christopher
I
Reeves,
knew-
you're talking about.
Hmm?
Christopher Reeves?
No, I'm talking about in the comic books.
Oh, in the comic books. Okay.
The Superman that I grew up with was really a god.
Yeah.
I mean, this man could fly at a certain point, hit that point on the planet, and move the whole freaking
Yeah.
planet. They have so changed that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're applying that to, whether they applied it to that, but I thought it was okay, but the battle itself, and one good moment that I remember, and that's when Superman takes the swing at him, and he puts his hand up and he stops the punch, and Superman looks at him like, what? But that was right after he inhaled the gas.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that Superman has to get away from the kryptonite in order to regain his
Right,
strength.
right.
In my Superman,
Right.
he inhaled this,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry,
Be dead.
that's it.
Dead
Bye-bye,
or
Supes.
at least in a coma or something.
Yeah, at least. I mean,
Yeah.
there would have been some major problem where the fight was done.
Yeah.
As soon as he inhaled that stuff, the fight was done.
Probably in the
So
bloodstream, huh?
they're making changes from us old fuckocks that, but they don't care. You know,
Yeah.
you're the
No,
demographic.
and I'll be completely honest. No, and I am, and that's actually what's more frustrating is because they've gone so far away from what Superman is, and honestly, especially I know I bag on Zack Snyder a lot, but for this specific film, it was obvious that he's not a fan. It just felt like a bunch of stuff thrown together. It was actually, I kind of dissected it a little bit. It was actually 3 or 4 different storylines mashed into one.
How many writers do they have?
I don't even know.
That's usually the problem.
It was 4. It was these 4 things all kind of crammed together, and it wasn't even like they were cohesive. It was just like picking and choosing whatever works. Like, oh, well, we like this about it. We like this over here, and just putting it together.
That's the problem with more than one. That's the problem when
Yeah.
you run in multiple writers.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, it didn't work. It doesn't work. This version of it didn't work.
Not only did that not work, then visually, Batman looked like a big square block. I mean, when you get used to, Batman, Batman Begins and the second one. I mean, he's so slim. Everything about him works.
Yep.
And then they go back to the old style thing with the little tiny short ears, and of course, I mean, forgive me, I can't think. Shame on me, I can't think.
Ben
of his name.
Affleck?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
He's a great
Bruce?
Bruce Wayne. Thank you. He's a great Bruce Wayne. He doesn't work as Batman.
I didn't have a problem with the
it was
bat
okay.
the bat
I didn't
flack
have
or the bat flack, if you will. I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with him. It was more with the Superman, because with Superman I feel like you were saying, like he is almost mythological. He's almost a god. He pretty much is. Like back, the original iteration. And even in the comics up till now, he's actually gotten more powerful.
Oh yeah.
But for the film, I understand having to kind of try and ground him, but he's not. You can't do that. Like, that's not his character. That's not who he is.
My issue with him was when he's basically manipulated into trying killing Superman.
Right.
He doesn't take a second to think about it, which annoyed the crap out of me because Bruce was like to me, like in whatever animated version of him I saw, like Batman was always the one that was like, hold on a second, let's
think about this.
let's
for a
think
minute.
about
Yeah.
this rather than just go out there and like,
Yeah.
fly and whatever.
Yeah.
But in this one, he was just he was just some like he was basically some spoiled rich kid, like, oh, someone else took the like spotlight from me, I'm gonna go kill him. Not thinking like maybe I should work with, or maybe there's something else going on here.
I think you seem upset for something. You seem angry.
Yeah, he was just angry and
Yeah.
just like on a tantrum as opposed to actually trying to do anything.
Well, again, you look at the way that's changed from the original. When Batman first came out, he was brought out originally in Greatest Detectives, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going back before all of you guys were born. And that's what he was. He was a detective.
Right.
He had all of this magic, fancy tune, but it was always about figuring out the crime.
Yeah.
Who did it? Why did he do it? And this guy, like he says,
Right.
this guy just jumps right in and
Yeah.
builds, this big armored outfit that I just hated. God, I hated that outfit. And for the very simple fact that one of Batman's big things is his agility.
Yeah. Well, this was also an older Batman, though. This was supposed to be, what is it, like 15 years or something after his, or whatever amount
Batman
of time.
Begins?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
just an older Batman.
Yeah, he's
I
supposed to
missed
be an
that.
older Batman.
So I
missed
so
that
I do
completely.
understand the need for like a suit, like I get that, or even for fighting Superman.
I
But
missed that completely.
The problem with it, and one of the storylines that they cherry picked from, and it's one of the greatest, in my opinion, if not the greatest single Batman storyline, one of them, Dark Knight Returns, where it's also in the future. Batman is older. It's like 20 something years in the future from when he first started, or 25 years in the future, and much older, kind of grizzled, and of course Superman hasn't really aged much, if at all. He still has his powers and he's fine. Whereas Batman is kind of obviously unable to. He's not the guy. He's not that guy.
He's
anymore.
human.
Right.
He's human. So
yeah.
he's going to age. And what ends up happening is that the government asks Superman to stop Batman from being Batman, because he goes back to that. He goes back to the Dark Knight. He goes back to because some things happen in Gotham that force him to take action.
Right.
And so as a result, and it's funny because when the comic was written, Reagan was in office. So Reagan goes to Superman to have Batman stop. To be stopped.
Country needs
Yeah, the country needs you, and you basically that whole rah rah rah. We need you to stop it.
Mommy says we should use
Yeah, yeah. But what you were saying with the detective stuff, he uses his brain to figure out how to stop Superman, and then has one of his other former members of the Justice League, which was Green Arrow, help him do it as well. It's not just him by himself.
Right.
And in that comic, or in that storyline, Superman ripped off his arm.
Oh wow.
Ripped off Green Arrow's arm, because that's his thing. He's a bow and arrow guy. So he ripped
Right.
off his shooting arm, so he can't shoot. So he's very angry and had a ton of reason to help Batman
Yeah.
take him down a notch.
Yeah,
So it was a very interesting, cool storyline. So
That is
and
very
they
cool.
just kind of they got the cherry pick and here you go.
My
So,
biggest,
yeah.
one of the bigger issues I had with Batman vs Superman was Lois. She was absolutely useless. Did not do anything to the story, and just
Yeah.
a complete moron the entire. Like, the best scene I can think of how stupid she is when she's in the airport or whatever. She's going down the escalator right before she gets kidnapped by Lex's guys. And she just walks up to the guy and goes, "Have I seen you before?" And then it's like,
doesn't
it's like,
recognize
no, God,
doesn't recognize the guy
it's
that
like, no
shot
shit, the
some
guy that shot
Jimmy
you,
Olsen
yeah,
in the face.
in Africa,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
For sure.
Like I really wish all they had done in that scene was when she goes down the escalator.
Yeah.
She just she taps him on, like she sees him and goes, "All right, fine, let's do this." Like whatever.
Yeah, or
like,
freaks out, one or the other. Just have
even
some
freaks out, because,
some
like-
human reaction to the.
Like
fact
to me,
that-
like Lois has always been like, the tough, like,
Yeah, tough as nails.
tough
reporter.
as nails,
Yeah.
SOB reporter. She
Yeah.
like she stands up to Superman. She looks at him and goes, "I don't give a crap. You have powers. I'll still yell at you and make you go buy me flowers." Like.
Yeah.
Why she was such a wimp and a moron in this movie, I have no idea. And then when she threw that staff away, like, I'm gonna throw the staff in the water. Like, it's like, shut up, just go stand in the corner. Yeah, like they messed up the Lois character.
Yeah,
She was just annoying.
they messed up a lot of things, but yeah, that was one of them for sure.
And
For sure.
I don't know, I just don't like her.
When you think of it in hindsight, I look at it and I wonder, why is this monster there? What is this monster?
Doomsday?
Whatever that creature was that they finally ended up killing, that ends up killing Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I-
Doomsday, right?
And I was
yeah,
like, Doomsday, whatever. And I'm like, so they didn't have enough story, so they had to create a monster
Well-
to be able to fight Superman. And when he kills Superman, I lost it. I was just
be
like,
fair,
That
no.
one,
Doomsday is a real character. Like that was in Superman. He's the only character that's ever killed Superman in the comics. The only difference is this version of him is nothing compared to what the comic book had. The
only way-
Sorry, go ahead.
the only way I can think of justify the whole, it's because Lex had to kill Superman, and he was like, no matter what happened, I think Lex had to kill Superman per Darkseid. So I think for him it was like,
Oh, he's,
fine,
like,
Batman's not
forced
gonna
to-
do
yeah,
it. Let me
forced
create
to, yeah,
Doomsday
like
like as a
forced
backup
to.
plan or something
Yeah.
like. So I think that's why Doomsday is really there. It's like Lex is tasked to do this, whether.
Well, I admit
matter how.
I'm getting on the edge of. I haven't read any of the comics in many years, but I do remember the a lot of the origins, and it was just like, what? And then when he killed Superman, I didn't know that he'd been killed. So how are they going to bring him back?
Exactly. I can tell you how they did it in the comics, and it's the most retarded thing I've ever. Us as fanboys are like, okay,
Really?
sure,
Yeah, well-
right. So essentially, he killed him and he didn't kill him. He killed him, and basically put him in a coma-like state where it looked like he was dead. And then all of this other stuff happens where these
I remember
the false Supermans
remember
come,
those, yeah.
and then this weird like he gets this yin and yang energy thing going too, and splits into this. It's just it's stupid. It's just bring him back. He wasn't really dead. There you go. Okay, that's all you need to do.
That's probably
That's
what
it.
they're going to have to do in this
Yeah.
one, because if they're going to do, I mean, Justice League without Superman. Ain't
Oh,
the
of course
Justice
you can't do that. No, of course not.
League. So they're
No,
going to have
of course
to.
it's not gonna. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
I
doesn't
have
work.
I have a feeling what they'll do is some bad guy will dig up Superman, bring him back to life, and make him a bad Superman. And
That'd
then
be cool.
and then
That'd be
Batman
great.
and Wonder Woman and the rest of them are gonna have to somehow, and they're
So
gonna end up fighting
zombie Superman?
Yeah, some sort of a zombie, like he's
Why not?
It's like amnesia.
like he's alive, but he's.
Bizarre.
Jason Bourne, the Jason
yeah,
Bourne
me.
Superman.
Bizarro.
I don't even think it's amnesia. I think they bring him back to life, but he's under control or something.
Right.
And then the Justice League is gonna fight him at one point, and then somehow someone's gonna say Martha and he's gonna come back to reality. Like,
Okay, all you writers out
Your mom's
there.
Martha too. Oh,
All
we're
you
brothers.
writers out there,
How
just
did you know?
no, you didn't hear what he just said, because that's going to be the next script right there.
Yeah.
So
that
I
would be cool. I mean, like that would be a good Batman versus
That's
Superman.
going to be
like,
the next script, and they're going to get it from this
I know
show.
they're gonna watch this. They're
There's
gonna
50,000
dig it
writers
out.
out there.
Yep. They're gonna dig it out of the trash. Just
Oh, I got
this
a
is
great script idea. No one.
Oh, please.
I don't know if I should. It's not comic book related at all.
Oh, well, then
But
we don't care.
Yeah, no, okay.
A Mamma Mia style musical with Madonna's music. That one.
Starring Superman,
Starring
Batman, and
Superman?
Wonder
No,
Woman.
no.
Oh,
I
sorry,
mean
Justice
just in
League?
general.
Oh, okay.
But
Wait a minute,
That could work.
A musical.
With the Justice League?
You know, Batman,
Justice
Superman,
League musical.
That'd be pretty funny.
Wonder Woman, and Deadpool.
Oh, that would be great. That's a good segue too. So we can
Deadpool's
talk
in the
about
background
Deadpool.
just doing
Deadpool.
ballet.
Yeah.
Talking about Deadpool. We
So
only,
Deadpool is coming back. Yeah, there's a sequel.
Hooray.
There's two.
Yeah.
hooray.
Now the first one, obviously, I love the first one. I'm sure I feel
Oh,
like
yeah, I
this
love
entire
it.
panel
Oh, yeah,
It's
dug
absolutely.
the first one as well. They did it justice. It's very much in the same vein as the comics. It's very true to that feeling and that tone of breaking the fourth wall and tongue in cheek and making fun of it. You know, being very irreverent. With the second one, is actually really interesting because now that Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, it's funny to see him throw his weight around because the original director for the second one got booted off because him and Ryan Reynolds didn't agree or
Right.
see eye to eye on certain issues. One of those issues being what Cable, one of the characters to bring into that universe now by the name of Cable, should be or look like or feel. And they brought in Josh Brolin to be Cable. So what are your thoughts on Deadpool, the second reiteration of Deadpool?
Was the director for the second one the same as the first one?
I don't know. I don't recall. That's a
No,
good question.
I think the director. Yeah, like you said, the director who shot the first one was supposed to shoot the second one. I guess
and
I
they
think
just didn't agree.
They didn't agree with the character. I think
That's
that's what
risky
it
because
was.
the first one was good. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's either going to be successful or it's not. I mean, I can't go into it because I don't know the characters that well, so I can't
You
go
know
into
what?
any detail.
Not every actor can be Kirk Douglas. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, not every actor can act and also produce pretty well and like pick directors
Right.
pretty well. It's like
Right.
sometimes just let people do their jobs. I don't care if he is a producer or anything. Like maybe the director didn't know what he was talking about.
A lot of times that's happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes directors get carried away and they need a producer to sit there and go, "Excuse me, my butt hurts. Recut it."
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it too because I would not mess with a winning formula. If the first one did so well and the director did so well, just let him do his thing. It's fine.
Right.
We get it. Even if you don't agree with it per se, totally cool. Get that, but you got to work
Yeah,
through
you
it.
don't mix with the.
I do agree. I do and I don't agree with Josh Brolin now being Cable because in the
Universe, right? Fox is-
well, it's still Marvel. Yeah,
That could be part
I'm
of
sure
the
they
joke.
might reference that.
absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
He's Aren't you supposed to be
Aren't you
Thanos?
supposed to be in that other film? Like, what are you doing?
What are you
here?
doing here?
Yeah. For
Oh,
sure.
kind of like Ryan Reynolds played
Yeah,
two.
yeah, like wink, wink, like
yeah.
you know, like oh, you're Cable now, like oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool, all right.
What's up, Josh?
So it looks like we are at 0 time. We're out of time. But it was great to have our guests. Thank you
Pleasure.
for being on the show, sir.
Thank you, sir.
As always.
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
And tune in for
God bless
some more nerd talk and more nerd stuff. So my name is Michael Gonzales.
Nerds.
Nerds.
Nerds. Nerds. Nerds. Nerds. Nerds.
That's right. We should talk about Revenge of the Nerds next time.
Ah, yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, that was a great film. The first one was a great film. I don't know about the second one. But so that's
Okay,
it.
You know, so